Hi guys, it's Ben Heath from Lead Guru, and in this video I'm going to talk about Facebook ads rules. I'm going to explain what they are, how they work, and how they can make your life as a Facebook advertiser a lot easier if you know how to use them and implement them properly. Now, before I get into that, I just want to quickly mention that at the end of this video, I'm going to be talking about a free Facebook advertising related resource I think you're going to find very, very interesting. So make sure you stick around to the end for that. Okay, with that said, let's go ahead and dive into what we're going to talk about. So we've got an example Facebook ad account up here. And you may have noticed that when you're in Ads Manager, you're taking a look at the various settings, that there's a section right in the middle here called Rules. I'm just going to select that and I'm going to click on Create a New Rule. So basically a Facebook ads rule, a Facebook advertising rule, is designed to automate certain activities. So you can set up rules that basically say, if this happens, do this. Which, if you think about it, can be very, very valuable, particularly if you're running lots of different Facebook ad campaigns for either lots of different businesses, if you're a service provider, or perhaps you're just managing lots of different stuff within your own Facebook ad account personally. And what you'll find if you run Facebook ad campaigns for a while is that you're doing the same activities again and again and again manually a lot of the time. And perhaps you want to automate certain things. Okay, so let's just have a go and have a look through some of the various options. The amount of combinations in here are enormous. I would encourage you to get in here and have a play. I'm just going to go through some of the most common and talk about what we often use, and also how you can go about setting up a schedule, because that's a really valuable thing that you can do. When you're creating a Facebook ad campaign at the ad set level, it looks like you can only set up a schedule to turn ads on and off if you're using a lifetime budget, which is not ideal. I'm a big fan of using daily budgets with Facebook ad campaigns, but actually with rules, you can set it up so that ad campaigns are automatically turned on and off at certain times of the day, certain times of the week, etc., which is really, really handy and a nice workaround. So the first thing you need to decide is apply rule to. So what is this rule supposed to apply to? Is it going to apply to all campaigns, all active campaigns? I'm an example ad set, so example ad account. So I don't have anything active right now, but you can see I can do active ad sets, active ads, etc., etc. Okay. Then you can select the option, the action that you want to be taken if this rule that we're about to set up is met. So do you want your campaigns to be turned off? A classic example being, if cost exceeds X amount, I want my campaigns off, I'm no longer profitable. Do you want to turn your campaigns on? Perhaps is another criteria we can get to in a minute. You can just send a notification so you're notified of a certain, I've set up a rule so that if my cost per purchase goes above $30, I'm notified because I don't make any money above $30, something like that. You can also adjust budget. So you can see here there's lots of different criteria of, if my cost per result drops below $3, go ahead and up the budget by X amount. Or if my cost per purchase increases above a certain amount, decrease the budget. And you can do the same with lifetime budgets. You can set this up for daily or lifetime. So you can see the sort of thing that you can do depending on certain criteria. Let's just assume for a second we're turning off campaigns. Then you set up your conditions. So cost is an absolute classic one, but there are tons of variables in here. I'm probably going to focus on some of the most common. So cost per result is absolutely most common. A lot of people want to automatically increase their budget if their cost has dropped. This is particularly the case if external events affect your Facebook advertising results a lot. So a classic example being, let's say, for example, you were selling sunglasses. That was the industry that you're in. You're selling sunglasses through your e-commerce store. Well, I imagine that the weather is going to have a big impact on your Facebook advertising results. So you might want to set up, you can't set up a rule to say if it's sunny outside, increase my budget. But you might want to set up a rule that says, if my cost per purchase drops below $5, I want you to double the budget. And you will probably find that the days in which your cost per purchase drops below $5 are particularly sunny days where people are sort of squinting and, they're using the sunglasses a lot and they've left them somewhere, or they've sat on them and broken them and they need a new pair. Things like that. Another example could be the opposite, where your cost per result has gotten too high and you want to either turn off your campaigns or decrease budget. So for example, if you're a service-based business and you're wanting to leave your campaigns running, but you know that it's going to be really expensive for you to advertise during the Black Friday sales or in the last 2 weeks of December with Christmas and New Year. You can set this up so that, again, your campaigns are turned off or your budget drops if your cost per result exceeds a certain threshold. But as I said, there's tons of other options. You could do it based on, instead of cost per result, you could do it based on return on ad spend. So perhaps you need to maintain a 3x return on ad spend to be profitable. And if your ROAS goes over a 5x, then fantastic, you want to scale up big time. Great. You can also do it on frequency. So frequency is the number of times on average that someone within your audience has seen your ad. You may want to turn off your campaign once your frequency has gone above, let's say, a 3, because we often see campaigns start to drop off at around the 2.5x mark because of ad fatigue and things like that. So perhaps you want to do that. All sorts of other things. You could get it to turn itself off when it's had a certain amount of spend. You can take a look at all these sorts of options, okay? Now, you can also select it's greater than, smaller than. You can get really specific. And then the time range. What do you want this data to apply to, okay? Should it apply to, as you can see here, the lifetime? So this is the number of days worth of data you'd like your rule to apply to. So the total number of days that it's been operational. Or you could be much more specific. So you can just count the last 7 days. You know, this is particularly important if you're doing a cost per result, for example. Should this cost per result apply to your lifetime? Because let's say, for example, you want your campaign to reduce its budget during the last 2 weeks of December because your cost per purchase would be, or let's say your cost per lead would be really expensive. Well, if you're applying this to a lifetime's worth of data and this campaign's been running since like February, the average over the lifetime is not going to do that, okay? So what sort of data do you want it to apply to? Very, very important. Attribution window, when you're getting started with rules, just don't worry about that. I've got other videos on attribution windows for all sorts of things. You can check that out if you want. They'll be on my YouTube channel. But for now, let's keep that simple. Okay, so that's some of the options. You can have a good play and start to think about how this would apply to your business. Then you can set a schedule. Now, I think this is one of the most valuable aspects of using rules. So, continuously. So the rule applies no matter what, all the time. Or you can run a custom schedule. So if I click here, edit custom schedule, and you can see I've got some stuff in here. I'm just going to deselect that for the time being. So when would you want to use something like this? Well, let's say, for example, you're a B2B business and you only want to run your ad campaigns during business hours. So 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, okay? Well, you can set up custom rules to turn on and off your campaigns automatically without using the schedule function and having to use lifetime budgets. This is a much better way of doing it. So how would you go about doing that? So let's say I just select Monday and I want to turn this on at, let's say 9 a.m. So I select 9 a.m. for both options here and click close. Now, I don't want this to be, let's say you turn on campaigns. I don't want campaigns to be turned on if they meet certain criteria, so I can get rid of that. I just want them to be turned on. So now, this rule is set up to apply the rule to all pause campaigns, or if I had certain campaigns, I could be more specific. I want campaigns turned on if they meet no criteria, just, you know, there are no specificity of which they have to meet certain criteria to turn on, just turn them on. When? Edit custom schedule, Monday, 9 a.m. Close. So that means that with this setup right now, all my pause campaigns are going to be turned on at 9 a.m. And then what you could do is you could save this rule. So I'll get to this stuff down here in a second, but give it the rule a name, click create, great. And then you create another rule that turns off all your campaigns at 5 p.m. on a Monday and set it up for Tuesday morning, Tuesday evening, Wednesday morning, Wednesday evening. I know it'd take a few minutes to set that up, but it's just 10 rules, probably take you 5 minutes. And if you only want to be running ad campaigns during specific times, well worth doing, okay? So that's one of the obvious ones why you'd want a custom schedule. And one of the things we use this for a lot is the businesses that don't want to run ads during certain times of the week. We can set up rules to turn on, turn off campaigns. Personally, I don't use a huge amount of, of these sorts of criteria in our ad campaigns. Things like, so let me click it, there we go. Things like turning ad campaigns on or off if results get worse or better, or increasing budget or decreasing budget if results get worse or better. And the reason why we don't do that is because we're a Facebook ads agency, right? So we're inside our clients' Facebook ad accounts every single day. Our account managers are absolutely on top of it. So they know what's going on. We don't need these automated rules. They're going to make more of a value judgment themselves and say, they'll be looking at the data, they'll be looking at today's data, yesterday's data, the last 7 days, last 14 days, last 30 days, putting all that together and going, do we think it's a good time to increase budget? Do we think it's a good time to decrease budget, etc., etc. But obviously we're in quite a unique scenario in that we're a Facebook ads agency doing that, and we have lots of staff in Facebook ad accounts all the time. You may not be doing that. You may be wanting to set up your Facebook ad campaigns and focus on other areas of your business, which is absolutely understandable, in which case these rules for increasing budget, decreasing budget, turning off campaigns, if certain criteria are met, most likely cost results. makes absolute sense. Last thing I mentioned about these rules is that you can set it up so that you're notified. Okay, so if you're a little bit worried about just leaving this and, I'd like to know what was going on still, Facebook automatically sets it up. So I'm a subscriber here. You can see Ben Heath, my name's in there, and I'll be emailed if one of these rules gets met. So if, let's say, for example, I've got a rule which doubles my budget if my cost per result drops below $5. I'd probably quite like to be emailed to just let me know and remind me that that's happening, okay? Because I might want to change it, undo it. When it comes around, it might happen in 6 months' time, I might have forgotten about it. So I think that's worth doing. But then you just give your rule a name. So I'm just gonna call this example rule. Gonna click create. And then you can go into manage rules. And in manage rules, you can see all the rules that you've got set up. So we've just got the one example rule, it turns on campaigns, etc., etc. Very, very straightforward, but a very powerful tool. And if you really have a think about how this can apply to your business, the most common one we use, as I said, is to use this basically to form a schedule, but there are other ways you can do that. Then you can see the value in it. So hopefully that video has been useful. You now understand a lot more about Facebook ads rules and how to set up Facebook ads rules to help make your life a lot easier. Before you go, a couple of things I want to mention. First is a free webinar I've created called 3 Killer Facebook Advertising Strategies to Double or More Your Revenue. And in that webinar, I break down 3 different Facebook advertising sales funnels that have all generated more than $1 million for our clients, very much tried and tested, deliver fantastic results. And you can see in that webinar exactly what these sales funnels look like and how they operate. So I'd strongly recommend you go ahead and watch that completely free. Link is in the video description. Go ahead and check that out. 60, 70 minutes long, well worth doing. Other thing I want to mention is our Facebook ads mastermind group. So completely free Facebook group to join. There's 32,000 members in there right now, all Facebook advertisers, all wanting to get better results for Facebook advertising, very much willing and happy to help each other out, answer your questions. Again, link is in the video description. Click on that, go ahead and join the group, join our community, and I think you're gonna really find a lot of value from it. Literally tens of thousands of people have, and I do live trainings in there for free and stuff as well, so you can get some access to me as well. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the little bell notification when you do to get notified when I release new Facebook advertising related content, and comment below to let me know if this was useful. I really, really appreciate when people do that. Helps me sort of direct what type of content I should be creating. And also, if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below. This is probably a topic that might generate some questions here about rules and how you can use them. So pop them in the comments below. I get to all the questions. And yeah, best of luck with everything, guys. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.